everyone, so today I have the Griffin tunnel card dies set to play with. I recently picked this up on HSN, so I'll have the link in the description box. That would be an affiliate link, which means I'll make a small commission if you're a purchase items to those links. So initially I just saw these and I added them to my cart, and I don't think she had presented them yet, because sometimes when you click on, you know, whatever products or like the link that I have provided, if there's a video that goes along with it, it'll like start up. And so I wasn't even aware that this was a square card until I did the haul the other day when it came out. I was like, oh, cool. I don't know. Yeah, it's a square card, so that's fine. And the whole point of this thing is that it's in there. I don't know if you can kind of see what's going on. You're basically making like a pop-up box. You know how those little boxes that we used to have, and you have the little strips, and then you can close it like a vignette, like the APG vignettes and stuff like that from Spellbinders. So when you close it, these pieces are going to, you know, collapse and move over, basically, right? And I don't know if you can tell. So there's some stuck here, and then you have to fashion this other piece that's basically what this is. At first I was like, what is this? That you're going to come around here. Okay, so it's like a box, and then it just collapses, basically, right? And so that's also probably why it's a square. I guess it doesn't really matter why it's a square, but you have this area that this needs to push into and then not stick out. So that's what that is. So as we look at it, there are some layers. Looks like we're going to end up with 4 layers. And that's why we have these 4 guys here. Now, of course, you're going to have to place these yourself. Not the biggest deal, you know, on this outer one, okay? And the next time we're going to place this one, but you're going to want to place it as centrally as you can, right? Center it really nice. So if we look at this, we have, again, the dies that make the panels. These are not cutouts. These are like embossed areas. So you'll definitely want to get that if you're, you know, using a pattern paper. I don't think it's as important. But whatever your die cutting machine does to get that embossed look to it, you will want to do. And the die itself is like just over, it's 4.5 inches on the cutting line and 5.5 in the other direction. And yeah, and then this guy's a little bit smaller than that. Obviously, it's the same height. And then this big guy, let's take a quick measure. I think I might have measured it in the haul video. I don't recall. Sounds like the mailman just got here. Is 11 inches by 5.5, I guess. Yeah, by 5.5. So it makes a 5.5-inch square card. Of course, we have all these beautiful things I'm going to use for other things too. This like really pretty leaf sprig, a couple different ones in different directions. This little branch. Beautiful little flower, has an outline, and then this cuts its own thing, so you definitely want to do the embossing, but it has its own cuttage, so you have a background piece for it. We'll look at that in just a minute. Another gorgeous branch, and then some more pretty leaves. This one looks pretty much the same as this one. It's just in the opposite direction. I don't know if you can see that, which is actually super cool. So I like having that. Let's check this out. I'm going to sit down for a minute. Let's just quickly see what it is that we need to do, and then we'll get to it. So of course you have your card base. If you want to use that big die, run it through. If you don't have a machine that cuts that, I would just cut an 11 by 5.5 piece of paper. To be honest, that's probably what I'll do, because why not? But that's basically what you need. You need a 5.5-inch square card base. So you might have some already prepared, or that you purchased or something. Window panel, it says, double-sided adhesive. First window die. Okay, so what they're showing you here is to cut the panels. It didn't really say how many of them. Obviously, we know we need 4 because we saw that in there. But what she's saying is to have them cut and then place the inside die after they're done. I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to do them all at one time, you know, as we go, because if I do the embossing and then I run it through again, the embossing might flatten out. It may or may not, right? The second time you pass it through to get the cut. But she is saying to cut your panels. Of course, you need 4 of them. Cut and emboss 4 window panels, says down here on number 2. Number 1 was just to cut the card base, which again, I'm just going to cut, you know, with my guillotine. Cut and emboss 4 window panels. Place the first window die in the center of the window panel and cut it. Fold on the score lines. Straightforward. Second one, place the second one, the sky, the inner, the next one in. Cut it. Third one, use the third, you know, from thus there, or third largest. How do you, would you say is that the third largest or the second small? I don't even know. Either way, the third one. You know what I'm saying. So concentrically we're going in, and the last one is the last one. And then she says to go ahead and decorate them before you put them in your placement here. Of course, you're going to want to know kind of where things are going to be at, you know. You need to cut out your card support, and you're going to attach the panels to the card support, and then just bring that whole, basically, hold that thing in and stick it on here. So, seems pretty straightforward as far as that. Not sure what they're showing here, because that's not how that works. You're saying the front of the card doesn't have a hole. Unless you put it there, I guess. But they're not saying to do that. And actually, if you put a hole, you're going to run into this. So I have no idea what they're showing you here. But maybe they're just showing you to layer up these same guys. That's what it is. It looks like they're showing you. You can see through. I'm like, no. What they're showing here is just to cut some different layers, pieces, and put it on the front. Okay, well, what I'm going to do is grab some paper. And to be honest, I probably will use pattern paper today because I don't really feel in the mood to emboss everything. To the embossing, sometimes you get a little embossing anyway just as you're cutting, but I'm not super concerned with that. So I'm going to grab what is going to be my card base, like this, just with some nice pattern paper. So you can still see a little embossing. I don't think they actually went through and embossed that one like this. It's a little more pronounced. But I will be right back. So to pick out some paper, I removed this die because I wanted to see, as you're picking out like pattern papers, a lot of it's going to get cut out anyway. So I was looking at like the Enchanted Garden or Secret Garden from Craft's Companion. That one would work a little bit better, but you are cutting away a lot of the prettiness. And then it's kind of thin paper, so like for a card base, it wouldn't look that great. And I don't know what to use for the card base because it has to coordinate pretty well, Some Stamperia papers, but those are also pretty. And like the Heartfelt Creations, I was like, hey, just cut them. I don't know. So I found this pack. I don't use super often, but I think this will be nice. I was kind of thinking about darker colors, but you know what? We'll go with this. So this is Botanical Cardstock from Anna Griffin. And, we have this one that just has this stuff. And I was like, well, maybe that could be like the first one. But the first one's going to have the biggest hole, right? Yeah. And then from there it goes smaller and smaller. So maybe. And it's if, you're trying to switch out papers. Maybe you're not. Maybe I cut them all from this. I don't know. But I don't think so. And then again, we're going to cut away so much of it. It's so hard to make a choice. Oh, maybe that one and this one doesn't subtract or detract too much. Like maybe this is the first one, that's the second one. Okay, let's do this. I'll just take these two. And as far as the card base, this one's kind of weird with like the little roots and things. I'll pick something out to cut down for the card base, but for now I'm going to cut out two of this. Again, if I placed it here, that'd be nice because we are basically going to cut this away. It just depends on where you're, where everything is. Be a little smart about it, that way you can still use that. So I'll place this somewhere, like maybe here. I'll cut one and then maybe another one around here so I can get that for something else. And this one I'll cut two of these two. So two out of this, two out of this. And trim my paper down and run it through my die cutting machine, and I'll come back with the card base and those pieces. Real quick, I'll just show you. I just cut my pieces at 6 inches because that way I can kind of still play with this and not ruin a whole, 12 by 12. And so for these guys, I don't really care. I just want that greenery to show up. For these guys, I'll be a little more strategic where I cut so I can get that little flower and maybe use for something else. And then I have this one is going to be my card base. So it's beige on the back. 5.5 by 11. I'll score it at the 5.5 inches to make a 5.5 inch square base, okay? And I will be right back. On this one, honestly, I'm just going to put it like right here. Just tape it down and run it through. And then I'll run through this other piece here. Okay, so I totally did it the way she said in the instructions and the way I said I wasn't going to do it. But if you were going to run them at the same time, because I don't know if you can see, there is a little bit of embossing. But I'm not concerned with that for this because I'm using patterned paper. So you can lay that on your paper and you can include the one that you're going to cut and do it all at once, Let's say that's going to be that last one. And I would just tape this down just like I do with anything else that I do when there's a couple dies. Tape it down so it doesn't move, run it through, and you already have everything done at once. But I think they kind of separated out just so that it's easier to explain probably in written instructions, right? I would think that's, I don't know, I guess it'd be the same. But I'm going to put this back. So since I did that, I'm just going to have a moment to see how I want to layer this up. Like which one goes where, and do we start with like the fern or like the prettiness, or the fern's kind of in here. So I think that's what I'm going to do. It's going to be like this one, this one, this one, this one, So again, largest hole is going to be the one that's in the front, and then you keep going back from there. So this guy, I would take, where did I put the die? Did I just cover it up? I'm sure I did. Yep. This is my first panel. So now what's a bummer about doing it the way she says is that you have to really look and see where you're going to be placing this. And that's pretty much why I would have just ran them through at the same time. You know what I'm saying? That way your die is there. You know exactly where you're placing this guy. But I followed through with that. Okay, so let's pretend that's there. And now I have to grab some tape. And I know it's going to move. That's okay. I should have this ready. It's getting warm right now. Or maybe it's just me all of a sudden. That is quite possible. Okay. I just want to make sure that this is where I want. Okay. And that's another reason why I would do this. I mean, that is literally the only reason I would do this, because you already know where you're placing it and you have a good idea instead of eyeballing it. Because after this one, it's going to be much harder to see that little divot and see where you should be placing it, you know? So there's that. That's my first one. And then my second one, again, doesn't really matter. I'm just making sure it's like popped in there. And then this guy, again, we should have just done this all at once. At least this is giving me a better idea of where I'm placing it. And then the next one and the next one, okay? So I probably should have got 2 pieces already. I'm hoping that's about straight. Now you can also cut the one out and bring it over and then see kind of where it's looking. Do you know what I'm saying? After you cut this out, you have the whole place it here and then use that. But it's basically the same, right? You're still gonna, it's the same view, basically. Okay, and then that's my second one. And here's my third one, just making sure it's placed in there nicely. So a lot of this guy's still gonna be there, but okay, again, I'm just eyeballing, making sure I'm as center as can be. And then I'll do the same thing with the last one, so just quickly do this. That looks pretty good. That looks good. Alright. And here's the last one. I was wondering what color paper I'm going to use to come around the edge, you know, because the inside of the paper is beige, but maybe I don't have the exact same beige. So I will have to, or cream color. Maybe I have some somewhere in my stash that's Anna Griffin. Or I'll just do whatever I feel like. Okay. That looks pretty good. And in the meantime, since I'm going to run this through, I am going to run through some of this little decorative stuff. And I'm probably just going to run these guys through like green papers. I have some pretty green paper sitting here next to me. You know, just a few. If they need to be embossed, I'll do the embossing just to give them a little extra. I don't know if I'm going to do any flowers, but I'll be right back. Leaves cut here, and I just realized I think I said one's opposite the other way. They're not. They all go the same way. I don't know why that looked to me like one was opposite, but look, they're the same. They all go the same direction, so sorry about that. If in case I didn't edit that out of the video. These two do go opposite ways, but these guys all go the same way. That's what it looks like. Anyway, okay, so I have my pieces. I am going to cut this one piece now. Like I had mentioned about the beige paper or whatever, you know, I'm just going to take this piece because it's a little bit bigger, and I'm not going to care what ends up coming off because part of this is going to go towards the back into the card, and it could be 2 inches big, but it could also just be 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch big. So I'm going to make it so that at least one of the panels cuts completely, and the other one can just be whatever, I don't care. You know. And I will be right back. I'm going to run this through for this portion. Okay, so that portion looks like this. And I'm going to make it so that this goes in towards the thing. This is going to hold our flaps. This is going to be stuck to the card, okay? So I'm not too worried about that. I'm going to go ahead and remove all these pieces and carefully take my little tape off and everything so I can keep these little guys for later. Maybe it works on the front of the card. I don't know. I might do something more solid for that, but you know, you have these little pieces, and why not? Okay, so I'm going to remove them very carefully, all of those guys, and I'll be right back. So, you know, in her images or in her projects, most of the time she uses double-sided tape or something like that. I don't like using that. I rather use a wet glue, just because I feel like it keeps up longer. So I'm not going to do exactly what she said, because what they're saying is to go ahead and put that on there. Obviously it has a little carrier. Fold them back, and I guess see where you're at so you can decorate each panel. So again, the largest aperture is the first one, and then this guy, and then this guy, and this guy, right? That's what we're looking at. If you want to do it flat, that'd be pretty cool, but I would do something that contrasts more. So I'm going to do it without putting the glue. I'm just going to do this. But if you were going to put the glue, you're going to put your glue strips on the right side facing. You know what I'm saying? The pretty side. And I have my papers all in different ways, but you would put your glue strips out here. Out on the outside, the pretty side. Because this is going to stick to this. That is then going to stick to the card in the back. And then this side is going to stick to your card base front. Okay, so I'm just going to take a moment to score all of them and fold them and bring my card base out. And I will be right back. Not taking too long, but again, I'm keeping it really simple because we're talking about technique right now, or whatever, procedure, I guess, rather than style. This one was actually like this, I believe. Yeah, the flower came up. So I'll be right back. Card base, again, 5.5 by 11, scored at 5.5 inches, 5.5 inch square card base. You can do it with your die, and your die will also score that center line for you. So we have that. And I think I want to do something like they have on here. I think that'd be cute. See how they put the little like branch out here just to kind of tie it together. So I'm going to leave this branch for that. And maybe I'll cut some more things later. Or maybe I'll just use stickers. I don't know. The paper's pretty busy as it is. But for now, I'll put this to the side. And basically, we're supposed to decorate this right now. So I think, if anything, I would decorate like these guys because they're further back. But again, you know, I kind of want to know what I'm looking at. Like if that was there, that might be okay there. Of course, we want these a little bit higher up. So I'm just going to take a moment and glue things down the way I want them. Like here, here, here. Look like that was touching. And again, I'm not a huge fan of folding these yet. I don't know why you can't just leave it flat. But I'm going to hold these guys. And of course we can. I was just pre-scoring and just following along kind of what she was saying to do. We can also flatten them out just to make it easier. And then I'll glue this one more like this way because I want to see more of the leaf, you know? So you kind of have to put them in a way that's sticking out quite a bit so you can see them. Like that. And then, you know, I don't know what I was going to do as far as sentiment. Let me see. Let me see kind of what this looks like. So way in the back you can pop in your little sentiment. What I was trying to see is if they put it on the card base. It looks like they put it on the card base. I just don't want to end up putting so many leaves that you don't even see the sentiment peeking through here. Or you can pop your sentiment here too, you know what I'm saying? So, I was saying my baby boy just got home. My son's like, are you always going to call him a baby boy? Dorian asked about Diego. I'm like, yeah. Anyway, I think I'll put that there, I guess. Just because I want something in a different area. Oh my gosh, I put the glue in the wrong spot. So, I guess it's gonna go here. Unless, you know, I wanted to clean that off, but... Okay, so for now, this is what we have. I will probably go ahead and adhere it together on this left side, like they say, before I decide where to put my sentiment or whatever it is that I want to pop in there, right? Way in the back. And okay, so that's that. You got your card support, which is that piece that I said I cut a little bit small because I don't really care. This piece is going to go in the back here. And if you look at her example, she actually has where like this one has the green pattern on the outside and the inside it has like a blue pattern, but it's facing, or it's kind of like light blue. But see, she's like, I don't need to have all that. That's fine. Mine could just stick behind the thing and not obstruct any view, right? It's a little cleaner looking. So, if you had your adhesives on here, it says attach the right tab of each panel to the right side of the card support, end to end. Now, this should be the exact width of that happening, but I don't know if that's the case. So, kind of scary. I think I will start with this one in the back though. I'm assuming, let me see. Yeah, because it's a little bigger. Let me just take a quick peek and make sure. Because that way I'm not putting anything in the wrong way. I feel like this is going to be really sticking out. So, since they didn't really say what order to do this, I'm going to go ahead and start with this top one because you want this to be flush, right? I mean, you don't want to have a big old ugly space there. So, I'm going to start with this one. Not how I would do it. I would normally start with the one in the back, but that's okay. So, again, I'm using a wet glue, so I'm going to have to wait a little minute for this to set up. And of course you could lay it down and give it the squish. I always do everything in the air and I always question myself like, what are you doing? I always do everything up in the air. Okay, so that's one of them. And I guess after that, it doesn't matter because if you're off, the last one can make up the difference, you know what I'm saying? Sorry, there's an emergency vehicle. Okay, my paper is definitely up here. This one's gonna go next. So I'll put some glue right to the edge. I really want that to stay nice. And I will push it back just a little bit. I'm gonna move this over. So for this one, it's gonna go right behind this guy. So I'm gonna try to line it up right with where the other one ended. I don't know if that's what you're supposed to do. It looks like it, but at the same time, you know, who knows. So I'm just butting it up right after this tab. This one's next. And I can give it a look just to make sure we're nice and straight. You know, this bottom probably could go up a little bit more, but oh well. Too late now. Okay, that's the second one. Looking pretty already. This will be our third one, and this one, yeah, this one's so tricky because the flower was here and it looks like it's upside down, but this is the right way. So this guy, and again, Nouveau Deluxe Adhesive doesn't take too long to set up or to stick, so I'm just moving right along. Again, I'll butt this one right up with that guy. And now that I see, I think we could have done real well, but if you want to make sure this is lined up super nice, I would just start with this first one. But as I bring this in, I can tell it's like the perfect size. I couldn't tell if this is like a 1/4 inch. It looks like more like 1/3 of an inch. So I didn't want to... Anyway, it was hard for me to tell what the calculation would be on the spine. So hey, it works good. As far as everything lines up really nicely. Look at this. This one goes in and it is like perfectly perfect. So yeah, definitely one right after the other. Try to get them as close as you can so that your little tabs are all nice. One right after the other, just like that. Now, I'm going to take pause because I hear the emergency vehicle again. So if you're following along, that was basically number 8. Okay, down here, number 8. Number 9 says you're just going to take this, well, let's look at it. Look how pretty. Oh, it's going to start getting caught on each other. I hope not. And that's kind of not great because you're going to put in the card, you're going to Anyway, so you can see the different steps there. This guy, we're going to make sure it's folded. This is going to glue into the card base, it says, which is weird because how do I know where this stops? You know what I'm saying? I feel like you need to glue this in first and then get that tab down, but what I'm doing to help me out with that is I'm going to push this bottom tab against here so I know exactly how far it needs to be pushed in, okay? So hopefully that makes sense in a minute. Hold on. So I'm putting this down. Again, I'm using a wet adhesive. I'm going to get as close as I can. What I'm trying to do is get this one. I'm going to butt this one up against the card. And now I kind of know where this should go, even though it's not stuck down. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Okay, that looks pretty good. And that looks pretty good. So that's what I'm doing. That's how I got that to line up without having these pieces stuck down yet. And what's so interesting about this is that you could definitely open this up. Just open the flap and push against that. So hopefully that makes sense. Honestly, I was looking at these, I was thinking, you know what, they might make it really cute mini album. You know what I'm saying? Look at this, like the way it's kind of, it has its little hinges, we can kind of stick them together, you can make an aperture, you don't have to make an aperture. I don't know, I think it might. So, alright, we have that. Now I'll start with this one, I guess, because it just says starting at the center fold, adhere the left tab of each panel to the left side of the card, one at a time, beginning with the smallest window panel, which is basically the one in the back. So that's number 10. And here we go. Again, I'm using a wet glue, so I'm going to have to hold this against that and make sure it's really staying. So when I do things like this, I'll like push like this. I'm kind of holding it. I might put it against its little base here just to make sure it's really touching the card base. I'll get something like this or a pencil or anything that will just help me meet those up. I can see that this slid, so I'm going to push it back to the score line. Oh, this one moved too. Get back there. All right, there we go. There we go. And I'll wait for that to set up just a little bit. I'm going to let this set up a little bit longer than I did the other because I don't want to like lift this up and move this again. So I'll be back in probably like 30 or 40 seconds, but it'll be a split second for you guys. I'm just going to keep pushing that down. Okay, all I want to show you is I'm just putting this in this space. Okay. So now it's backwards because I'm just kind of getting over here. But you see how we have to kind of pull this away to get in there? I didn't want to pull my card base away from that little flap I just did. So I'm going to curve that one in and slide it down. Slide it into place. Not bad, not bad. Okay. And again, I'm keeping eyes on both the top and the bottom, making sure we're nice and straight. It's a little bit off. I don't know if you can see that. And making sure it's butting up to each other. Yep. And I will, again, I'm just looking down here just to make sure it's nice and flush and that it's touching this panel and it's, you know, adhering all the way down where it should be. Okay, I'll wait a few minute or so and I'll be back. Let's go with the next guy. Should be this one. Again, just on the tab. Bring that down. Don't want to rub glue all over the place, so I'm kind of keeping it away from the card until I get where I need to be. And just bringing that in. Making sure it's touching at the right points. It's going to be a little bit lower. And now I'm just going to put it on its side, and again, just put my little help here. Ooh, I'm just going to drop something to keep that down. Here I can see it's starting to take shape, and I just wanted to give it a little bit of a flex back this way just to make sure it's doing what it needs to, you know? Because I'm using a wet glue, and with a... I want to say with like, hey, it's just in the nick of time. I gotta go get Dorian. I want to say if you're using like a tape runner or like, you know, this kind of liner tape, it might have some more give because it's a little bit kind of rubbery, you know what I'm saying? Until it dries. But this, once it's dry, it's there. So like, we'll definitely, you know, push it down to get that scoring in the right spot. Oh, I don't want to put glue everywhere, like I said. So I'm trying to keep this together until it gets to where it needs to be. And... that's looking good, you guys. I mean, this is the beauty of dies. Can we do this without dies? Yes. We have nesting dies, of course. Maybe your score line's a little bit off. The next one's going to be, you know. But dies have that precision that just make it so nice. Now I'm going to wait a couple on that one, but you see that? So I was being careful to keep it nice and straight. I can see this one's a little bit high. But that's going to help you, right? Because you want it to be the same as this. And look at that. Now here, they had this little flower on here. It looks really cute, but I'm kind of scared to do that. So actually, look at that. You can match it up right there. How cute. I will do that, but I'll do it once this is dry. So I will not come back. I mean, I'll come back when I'm ready to close it up. But again, I haven't put a sentiment in there. I don't know that I want to put a sentiment in there yet. I'll look around. I'll see if I have something that's nice, that's more of an everyday kind of thing. And I'll put it like right in here, but I'll do that with you guys, okay? I'll be right back. Ooh, guys, I remember I have these guys. Look at that. Maybe just for you. If it peeks out there. Oh my gosh. It's a little scary. Okay, let's put this, and then we'll give it a good squish, and then I have to go grab Dorian, so I may be able to finish this. Because the last step on theirs is also decorate the front of the card. Like, nobody... You know what? I'm actually going to put a wet glue. Sorry. And you know why I'm going to use a wet glue? To give it a little bit of slidey slide once it gets there. But I don't know if I should push that in here. This. You see what I'm doing? I'm going to hold on to it. I'm not really going to let it touch the card base until we get to where we want to be. Because I'm not trying to glue that down. I can barely see what I'm doing. Let's say just for you right there. And let's see how that looks. Hey, not bad. Not too bad. Before I really stick it down, I can kind of move it up over here a little bit. Okay, now that looks great to me. So I'll move that. There we go. Okay. Just for you. Back in there. Now let's close this. There's lots of things. There's this I'm paying attention to. There's this I'm paying attention to. I mean, you can just close it. I'm doing it a little bit softly. I'm going to guide it since this is the first time. This is kind of what I was saying about the glue because... look at that. I followed it perfectly where the one stops and the other, this is going to crunch. Do you hear that crunch? Did you guys feel that crunch like I did? Oh, yeah. Okay. Let me fix this. I don't know what that means to be. I don't know if it needs to be more this way or this. Oh gosh, that's so scary. Because there's so many, joints and meeting places. Let's see. Okay, so I smashed it down. I did hear a pop, you know, when I went to do this. So let's do it that way. It doesn't really have to go this way because that's not as important. But just like when you make a pop-up box or a pop-out box, whatever you want to call it, you know, those ones where you open it and explosion box, any of those things. You have all these different areas. So I'm going to still give it more of a squish this way. But essentially that's it. So when you open it, it does what it does. Cool. You know what? Didn't I make a card like this? Except for I only had the one aperture, remember? And it was basically, yeah, to come out to the 5.5. Well, I made mine smaller, like an A2 size card. But anyway, I guess I did do that back in the day, not too long ago. Very pretty. I mean, it is very dimensional. I have no problem with that. That's really pretty. And then as far as the front, it says to decorate it. I might come back and just have a little video with music, you know, just putting a little something because I gotta go get my kids. And I can just finish that up. That's not really what the video is about. So, nice. I enjoy it. I don't know that I want to put that leaf on the inside. I don't even know what happened to the leaf. Here it is. I'm a little bit afraid that it's just going to get, like, crushed in there, you know? Also, but it's very cute. I mean, you can also put it a different direction that's not so obtrusive or like somewhere else, but I might put this on the front with whatever else I'm doing up here, you know? Alright guys, well, that's how I did it this first time. I probably will do it the same way the second time, other than I will pass the dye through with the aperture dye and just have it done, you know? But other than that, yeah, I even brought out some more flowers and things, so we'll finish this up, but there it is. Thanks for watching. I have some images coming up. I have the links in the description box, and yeah, just be careful when you're doing that. You might have, like I said, a little better go if you are using tape runner, kind of liner tape, because it has a little bit of a give until it really sets up, you know? So, alright, I'll see you at the next one. It didn't look, nothing got messed up here. I feel like it changed here, the score line where this was. But that's about it. Alright guys, bye now.